Hey everyone, Andrew here from a Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. Yes, you are on the right feed, but no, this is not a normal show. I wanted to let you know right now that what you are about to hear is not suitable for work. It is likely also not appropriate for children. If you are sensitive to racy topics, go ahead and hit that delete button right now. You might not like this episode. But now that you've been warned, please welcome to a special RDH Rant Takeover episode with Heather, Anna, and Liz.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is an RDH Rant Takeover. I'm Heather, and joining me are my favorite rant members, my admins, fellow hygienists, ride or die, Liz and Anna. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello. For those of you who don't know who we are or what RDH Rant is, well, you're missing out. Sorry. We are a dental hygienist only Facebook group. Sorry, dentist assistants, front desk, hygienists only. And we do verify. We currently have around 12,000 members from all over the world. We are a huge support group in a semi-safe space for those of us who have ever wondered what in the hell did we get ourselves into. We ran about the good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly we ran about things not dental related. So that kind of gives us the background. And Anna and Liz have been with me pretty much since the very beginning.
2016.
Yes, it's gone by so fast. And so we kind of thought for our very first episode of this rant takeover, we would talk about bad bosses. Or
Badass bosses.
yes, really bad bosses. Because I mean, honestly, that's kind of why I started this group. I wasn't your everyday super smiley hygienist that loved everything I did and have the perfect job in this perfect world. My first full-time job was not great. I went home crying quite a bit. Mainly was the office manager. She was just not nice. And she was a micromanager. And I can recall sitting in my operatory with a patient and her tapping her watch behind me. Like, hey, time's up. And when I would finally learn to just ignore her, she would say, "Excuse me, your next patient is here. You need to wrap this up."
Wow.
Oh my
In front of the
God.
patient?
Yes, with the patient. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How does that make the patient that's in the chair, how does that make them feel?
Well,
You know,
awkward.
like, it's like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, she's going to rush through my cleaning. And
Yeah, it's awkward and it's unprofessional and just rude. But she wasn't just like that with me. She was like that with everyone. She was the biggest pot stirrer. She liked to gossip. Our office was actually ran by a dentist who owned several offices, but he was never there. He just hired dentists to work in the offices he owned. And I actually had a really amazing dentist that I worked for. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't, and her, have lasted that long. But he came in, the owner, every once in a great while. He was arrogant, acted like his shit didn't stink. You were only spoken if spoken to. Just completely and totally out of touch with reality.
Does he still own a bunch of practices in your area?
I'm not sure. I kind of walked out of there and never looked back. I worked with a hygienist who, it was prophy. No one ever got a perio chart. Nobody cleaned subgingival. I mean, I literally, fresh out of school, walked into a show. And it was horrible. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, is anybody else experiencing this?
Yes, I was experiencing that with my first job as well. It was a nightmare. It was a dumpster fire. This guy had left a corporate and he had a non-compete clause. So he had to open up quite a ways away from his general practice that he left. And it was a nightmare. So when he decided to hire a hygienist, he hired me fresh out of school 1 day a week. And I got there and oh my gosh, it was absolutely insane. First of all, he sold an MLM, like a financial MLM, as part of the practice. It was
what
like,
do you mean? Like, wait, what? It was like a product, like he was selling Arborn or like
no, it was
Avon
like
or
it was like some sort of almost. It seemed like a Dave Ramsey type situation.
Oh, Jesus.
He was
Except
a
it
dentist slash financial advisor.
Yeah, probably not. The way he ran the business, I would say I would not take any financial advice from him. He ordered my instruments from eBay, just a random lot and they were like butter knives. They were awful. They all vaped in the office, like literally in the office. Yes, it was bizarre. And the creepiest thing was it was an old bank. So they had like the pumps and stuff were downstairs and there was like a mattress down there.
What?
Yes, there was a vault
Like
and there was a mattress. I don't know.
What was the mattress for?
I have no idea.
So this
was
was
the
either
creepiest
like
thing.
a place for like sexcapades,
That's what I'm wondering.
he was like keeping people down there for ransom.
It was
Maybe he didn't want to
so
go home
creepy.
to his wife.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
he
No,
didn't
his
wanna go home
wife
to
was
his
the
wife.
office. His wife was the office manager.
Well, there you go.
So maybe it was sexcapades.
Ew.
I don't know.
The
Yeah,
fact
it
that the
was-
wife was an office manager is like
Red flag.
red flag. Red flag.
Red flag.
Well,
So anyway, yes, I was having the same experience, Heather, with my first job right out of hygiene school. So when you started Rant, I was like, hell yes, because this is exactly my experience too.
Well, I felt like all the online social media things for hygienists were just like, you can't talk poorly, you can't say cuss words, you can't say you hate your job, you can't say you're depressed, you can't say stupid. I mean, it was just like, you just had
many
to
rules.
smile and act like everything was hunky-dory. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm like just way out of my league, out of my field. What did I do? I just spent 4 years crying and hating my life. And now it's not going to get any better. But then I realized we are not alone.
No, we're not.
And we have 12,000 members to prove it.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad. But
It's sad, but it's fun.
it is fun. I do enjoy my job. And I love, love, love my job now. I'm still in clinical. I have an amazing office, amazing bosses. So there is hope out there for people. If you're just persistent and have your standards higher, you will find a unicorn office.
I have my
Absolutely.
unicorn office.
Yeah?
I do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely love my office.
So it's kind of funny that now I have this place where I think I'm going to retire from. And for the longest time, I'm like, oh gosh, I started a page where I hate my job. And for other hygienists to go, and I'm like, I hope my bosses don't think this is about them.
I've actually been very lucky, I have to say. I haven't had any like horror bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest horror offices have been about like infidelity, meaning that
Okay, so you're saying your accent, your New York accent, you're saying horror, and then it sounds like you're saying horror.
Horror. Yeah.
horror.
That'll
But
be
if it's about infidelity, that is kind of a horror office.
That-
so
yeah, so it
Exactly,
could go
it
either
fits.
way.
continue. I want to
No,
hear
but
more about the
my,
horror office.
So my best friend, so we became best friends at my office. She was the assistant, I was the hygienist, and we just clicked and we became best friends. And then she started banging my married boss.
Whoa.
And yeah. So what ended up happening was one night we went out for my birthday. He knew where we were going. He knew the bar we were going to, and he shows up there with his wife.
What?
Yeah, shows up there with his wife.
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
I know, you should be. No. Shows up there with his wife, and then it turns into basically like a huge show where my best friend goes up in his face and is yelling at him. His wife gets up in my face and is like, "You knew this," and blah. I was like,
Nope.
yeah. And then, yeah. The next day, I get a text from my boss saying, "I'm sorry, I have to let you go." And I got terminated
No!
because of it. Yeah, because his wife was like, well, first of all, you have to fire the assistant, fine, but you also have to fire your hygienist because that's her best friend and she knew.
True.
And how can I now, and I get it. Like, I would feel the same way as a wife, I think, but
No, if he went there knowing you guys were there, he wanted to get
Exactly.
caught.
He was looking for drama. It was
He
like,
wanted to get
what?
caught.
So, 2 questions. A, is she still your best friend?
No.
B, are they still married?
No, they got divorced, but not because of that. They ended up staying together. Then I believe she cheated on him with her tennis coach, and they got divorced.
Oh.
So check this. So I ended up working back with him after he divorced her, like say 10 years later now. I ended up working with him. And then I needed 2 weeks off. This is kind of sad, but I needed 2 weeks off to take care of my dying father.
Aww.
And he texted me after a week and said, "Oh, I need more consistency in the office. So, after you have your baby and your father dies, like, give me a call and we'll talk."
What?
Like, how shitty. Yes.
What?
I was like, you mother. Like, are you kidding me? And he knew my family.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
knew my mother, knew my father. Like, knew my father was dying and texted me that, yeah, like, I need more consistency in my office. So, when everything's all said and done, because I was pregnant at the time as well,
That's
you give us a
helpful.
call. Yeah.
So
I was
double
like, yeah,
whammy,
no, I
you're-
don't want to work for you.
Yeah, you're pregnant,
Ever
you're
again.
hormonal, your father is dying, who you were so close with. And
Yeah.
then But honestly, his character, I don't even know this person. It doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
No, he
He needs a dick punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cock punch.
He needs Flossed and the Flosser.
Yeah, so that's like my horror story.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
so we all have kind of bad stories, but
Yeah.
for those of you who are members and are listening, you can just scroll and just look up #rant. There's so many of them, and they're not all about the bosses. There are good bosses out there, and there's bad
Oh,
bosses,
absolutely.
but there's bad bosses, I think, in any career you go into. There's just
Definitely.
bad people that go into every career, unfortunately. But so didn't we kind of go through and pick out some of the doozies from some of our
Yeah, we
members?
Yeah.
So where do you think we
Yeah.
should start?
Oh,
How about the boss that texted her hygienist and said, "Oh, by the way, in a week I'm closing the office."
Yes, I have that wrote down, but I can't quite remember. Like the boss was like super shitty up to this point, but then just
Yeah, she's always been shitty.
blindsided her with just a nonchalant text message that said, "By the way, I'm closing the office in 1 week. I hope you have a backup."
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
That's exactly what happened. And then when she went in on Monday and was like, "Dude, what the the boss told her, "Well, maybe I'll sell. Maybe I'll stay open and we'll just sell instead."
Yeah.
But like no plan, nothing. Like who just closed? Like I don't know.
No, and then she posted a picture of the boss's office, and it was straight up hoarders.
yes,
in
it
there.
looked like an episode of Hoarders. Complete.
Just
Yeah,
Just
just like
charts,
papers everywhere.
files, paperwork. It looked like
trash,
a hurricane.
empty, like drinking cups, all kinds of stuff.
That was insane.
This is the same boss that actually told her when she had called out that oh no, wait. What was it? Oh, she was using the sensor.
Yes.
Like yeah, and then this boss comes up to her and says, "It's in your manual. I get the sensor first. If I need it, I get it."
What are we in kindergarten? Like I get it first.
Who puts that in a manual?
Well, yeah, and why do you only have one sensor? I mean, I get they're expensive.
We only have one sensor. Actually, we have two, but we only have one sensor. But, it's just me and Doc.
But that goes back to walking up to this hygienist, getting with her, saying, "I need that sensor," as she's getting ready to put it in her patient's mouth to take x-rays. Again,
In front of the patient,
what
no
does
less.
that say to the patient? You're not
You're
important.
not as important as the patient in my chair.
Exactly. And you sound like a catty bitch. Like, I just don't understand it. And she's still there because she posted again, I think, today. The boss is out this week and they're still like arguing through text messages.
Yep.
Dude. Nothing has to be that bad that you can stay there. Get out of there, girlfriend.
I think
Exactly.
she will. I think
Yeah.
She
I
has
think
to.
she's planning on it.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants to. Maybe I might want to stick around for the drama. I want her to stick
Yeah.
around for the drama because it makes for good content on Rant. That's for sure.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a. Some of these offices, it's like reading a soap opera.
Yeah. Well, and kind of in lines with, like, I think some of the dentists just get, like, big heads or I'm the boss or you're below me type thing. And I feel like that's kind of like what the text messages said in this particular incident. It was just kind of like, I'm above you. I'm the dentist. I get it first. You're my peasant.
Exactly. I mean, and granted, they're right. They own the practice. I
Well,
get
yeah.
it from that standpoint. But at the same point, there has to be some mutual respect.
Well, yeah.
And,
They're
yeah,
both your
and
patients.
exactly. And it just seems to be lacking in some sense from some.
Yeah. Well, so from dentists like that, we had another ranter who was temping, and the dentist comes in to do the exam and said she felt like she was back taking her clinical exam because she went tooth by tooth checking for plaque or tartar, and in the lingual pit of number 7, she pulled out a little something and looked at it and held it in the hygienist's face. Do you remember reading that one?
Yeah, it was
I
like
do.
It was like Prophy paste or something. That
Yeah.
was in the,
It was like,
in
what
the
is
pit.
Yeah, and
this?
in front of the patient
Over the
again.
and
In
then-
front of the patient.
Yes. And the patient, like, thank goodness, stood up for the hygienist and was like, she's one of the best hygienists I've had here. And she was a temp.
Oh my God. I've had that happen. I used to temp full time, and I temped in this one office, and the dentist would go in and then like pick up a scaler and like scale the lower anterior and be like, you missed something.
Oh.
No.
I'd be like, all right.
Then get it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
No.
I'm sorry, you only gave me 30 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I did
sorry.
the best I
I'm
could in the
trying-
time allotted.
I know. It's like, I just don't, like, I don't know. I don't know what goes on in their heads. Like, I know they're stressed and have a lot on their plate, but don't be a bully. Don't
No.
pick on me and call me out in front of a patient.
Especially in front of the patient. I think that's one of the quickest ways to ruin trust. It's hard for people to trust dental professionals anyway.
Exactly.
If they see like that belittling in front of them, I mean, that's got to make them very uncomfortable. That
Oh,
would make
yeah.
me uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
It makes me uncomfortable just reading it. There was one, and this wasn't part of any of the things that we did to, as far as researching this episode, but there was one that really stuck with me, because the things that really get me are the doctors or the office managers or even just the other coworkers, like assistants and hygienists, that yell at each other.
Oh.
Like they yell and screams like, oh, and I did this, and the other hygienist screamed at me, or I did this and the dentist yelled at me, or the office manager raised their voice. And I'm thinking, are we not adults?
Exactly. It's insane.
You can't. How is that in what world is that professional? You can't just yell at people.
No, it's not.
It's so weird. And so all of this, and we've heard multiple stories about dentists being upset and throwing instruments.
Oh, when I was shadowing to become, I think, a dental assistant, yes, years and years ago, I was shadowing an office that had an oral surgeon, and he extracted the tooth and he was taking the high speed to the bone, and the assistant had a syringe of sterile water, so it doesn't overheat, and he kept saying, move it more this way, move it more this way. Finally, he stopped, he threw down his handpiece, grabbed the syringe from her hand over the patient, took the syringe and squirted it in her face. And oh, yes. And then said, I said, move it more this way.
Like she's a cat on the counter squirting.
Yes, yes. And I distinctly remember thinking, oh my God, I'm going to my pants. I can't believe this is happening. Because I am trying to just squeeze myself up against the wall because I'm shadowing. And some of the other employees are walking past the room and just laughing. And this poor assistant is just sitting there like shaking her head like, okay, sorry. Yes, okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I would have been like, you motherfucker, I'm out.
Exactly, right?
He would have gotten a middle finger, and that's it. You can finish this procedure yourself.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to squirt my face with no. Well,
Yeah,
really?
this was
I would
like-
say no, maybe not.
Really, Anna?
Uh-huh.
It's
Well,
Anyway.
They're going to have to edit a lot
I
out
know.
of this episode.
Oh no. This is the content that people want.
Okay, so when hygienists fight back, this was like one of our top stories recently when a certain male hygienist was told by the office manager to go to another location, and he did.
Yes.
And then he gets a text message from the dentist at the previous location saying, hey, where are you? And he was like, I'm over here at this location. And he was like, no, I need you here. You need to learn to communicate better.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me? I was just doing what the office manager told me to do. But this hygienist, bless his heart, screenshotted the text messages and posted it so we know it's legit. Said, no, you need to learn to communicate better. I was just doing what I was told.
Your office manager told me to go here. Like, I went there. Like, you and your office manager needed to communicate better, not me.
Exactly. And then at that clapback, the dentist says, okay, I don't need your attitude. I'm like, what? I think that was just kind of like an eye for an eye right there. He was getting what he was giving.
Yep,
Exactly.
matching energy.
Yeah. So I think that had like 300 comments, and they were all like, you're my hero. I wish I
'Cause he
could
told
say
him.
that.
He told him he wasn't coming back.
Yeah. Because then he said, I don't need your attitude. I'll see you Friday. Okay.
No, he didn't say I'll see you Friday. I think he said, I don't need your attitude. You people need to communicate, and I won't see you from this point forward. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he said he wasn't.
Is that what the hygienist said?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
he said.
Yeah,
he
the
texted
dentist
back saying,
said,
I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
sorry,
dentist said, well,
dentist
like,
said,
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not seeing you Friday.
Yeah.
I'll never see you again.
I mean, I just think it comes down to just being a human. We're all human, and you just don't
Exactly.
need to talk to another human being like that. And
Agreed.
I think that most people don't know what goes on behind closed doors in offices, in your dental office. And I think they would probably not go there if they knew how office managers and dentists and other employees treat each other.
There's a lot of drama.
There is.
There is.
There's a lot of drama.
And I want to point out, it's not just dentists either. You know,
Oh,
I feel
no.
like there's like a separation between dentists and hygienists that is happening currently.
Yeah.
And sometimes people think like, oh, you're anti-hygienist. You always like side with the dentist. I don't always side with the dentist, but there's these particular rants. Obviously, I side with the hygienist, but there's certain things that happen. You know, there's certain hygienists also that are prima donnas also that
absolutely.
yeah, that bring this out in dentists.
Yeah.
So it's not just the dentist, it's also hygienists, which that'll be another episode, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Prima donna hygienists.
We're just
Yeah.
starting with the whole reason Rant came to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I don't
don't
want
worry.
anyone to think we're bashing
Yeah.
dentists. We're totally not.
No.
We have plenty
There's some-
of bashing fellow hygienist stories to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to be definitely sharing those in the future episodes.
But I also want to say our little-ish group has
Big.
had so much good come from it. We have friendships that have blossomed. Look at Mama Judy.
Oh, I love her.
Me
Shout
too.
out to Mama Judy.
Yes, and her new BFF the last couple of years that she met through Rant. They were
Kathy.
living in the same area all these years. Both.
Is that Kathy?
Yeah.
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 Yes. And
you know what I love about them is that they have so much experience
Yes.
in the dental world, and they've seen it all. You know what I mean? Like, good for them.
Yes. Well, and Judy, after what? Her whole career? Finally had
Like
enough
40
of taking from her
46
boss?
years.
And just
Yeah, and she was like, "I'm out."
just walked out at lunch, was it? Never came back.
It was something about using the restroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like she had to ask permission to use the restroom. And after, I think it was 46 years, because I remember thinking, she's been a hygienist as long as I've been alive. And just 46 years. Now, mind you, I have a much shorter fuse than Mama Judy. I don't know how she lasted 46 years, because the first time somebody told me I'd have to ask permission to go to the restroom would be like,
The last
"Deuces,
time?
I'm out." Yep.
Yeah. And I'm
But,
gonna...
you know,
I got to. If I got to,
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry, gotta go.
But I mean, bless her heart, not all of us are in a position. And so many hygienists, when these horror stories are posted, are like, run, you need to run. There's a lot more than just, you can't just run from an office. I mean, people have families, people need benefits.
And bills to pay.
There's bills to pay. There's long commutes that they have to consider. If it's a small town and there's one dental office, the next town over may be 45 minutes away where there's another dentist. So there's a lot of factors that go into it where somebody just can't up and leave.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
But that's always going to be our
Guys,
first go-to.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Be sure to come join us in the group and on Instagram. If you are already in the group and you see something you think we should feature on the next podcast, be sure to send one of us a DM, and we will do our best to get it on the show. Time for us to sign off. Time for you to floss off. Love, peace, and brush your teeth. Bye.
Bye.